Hmm. Greetings, all. Welcome. It is 8 p.m. on this beautiful 20th August, 2020. Good to see you coming out. Stop by, say hi, ask me a question. What's on your mind? It's been a real political shitstorm this past couple of weeks. Well, I see Foria is on. Come and say hi. I'm not going to bite. I'm all for it. I'm all for it, Chris. I'm all for the march. I'd like to be there myself if I could, but I'm in the process of finding another job. So the pennies I have saved, that's going to go towards my mortgage. But I would like to be there on the 12th, by all means. In a perfect world, I would like to see every gun owner in Canada take a rifle with them. Now, hear me out. Okay. Take a rifle with them with, trigger lock on it, no mags, and hold it up in the air in solidarity with common sense. That's my point of view on that. Okay. Can you guys hear me okay? Give me a thumbs up or any indication. Tommy Gun, good to see you. Thanks for coming out. Did you hear me, Chris? Okay. Perfect. Good. Okay. Yeah, I think gallows would be sufficient. I would think capital punishment would be sufficient for uh, rapists and child molesters, pedophiles in general. It's funny that you mentioned that too, because um, you all know the story about Theo Fleury, Mr. Fleury, ex-Flame, ex-Ranger, what he went through as a teenage boy, as a young teenage boy too at that. And there was some shithead on Twitter that basically said use different words when describing pedophilia. And I basically weighed in and I told him, it's like, well, how young is too young for that? And what words do you prefer? And I'm just like, why is there people out there defending that garbage when Mr. Fleury has been a an asset to people that have overcome that obstacle in their lives. I'm just surprised no one censored that clown, right? Well, I don't want to be shot either. That's the thing. But let's say if that hypothetically happened, okay, let's say if there was a protest and the police started firing, that would be on the police. That would not be on the people protesting. It'd be the same thing as what they did in Kent University back in the 60s. We all heard that story. 4 or 6 people were shot by the National Guard, but that was the time. Now, with all the police being on guard and all the other officers that don't know what to do, and I feel bad for some of those guys because I know some police officers that are down to earth, real good people, and they don't reflect any kind of brutality whatsoever. It's like the old saying goes, there's always a few bad apples in the batch, right? Well, that doesn't mean you annihilate the whole police force, but who knows what kind of orders would come down. Let's say if you had 1,000 people marching in Ottawa, screaming and yelling, provided there's no threat, provided, people don't start throwing bricks and stones, and there's no need for riot cops. But if it becomes a threat, well, then it's violence. Okay. Oh, I see more people are coming on. Come on, say hi. Don't be shy. Ask me anything you'd like to know. You've seen my videos. You've heard my podcast. I'm just down to earth. Try to be realistic. Right? Try to figure out all this garbage that's bringing us Canucks down. Right? Underground. I didn't know they had access underground. I thought they had other escape routes. Oh, I agree, Chris. Yeah, wear a gun rig. Hell, everybody should have cardboard cutouts and see what happens. I wonder how many people would flip. Oh my God. They got cardboard cutouts of firearms. Oh, it's illegal. Yeah, we'll see. Now, if I was there too, I'd be wearing my rigs. Yeah, definitely. And waving the flag. And probably handing out brochures and pamphlets at the VCP party, all that good stuff. So. Yeah. Super soakers with cat piss. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's a bitch to get out, isn't it? Yeah, that smell is, oh. I lived in a place when I was in Petawawa. I lived with another grunt, and he had a cat and a dog, and they were notorious for doing their deed downstairs. And that's where I kept my kit. And I remember my valise just reeking of it. Oh, lots of vinegar, lots of lemon juice, and a couple of wash cycles later, I finally got the smell out, but it was just nasty. Oh, yeah, fucking cat piss. Yeah. Yeah. Well, I see half a dozen of you is more signing in. Come out and say hi. Ask me anything you like. If you feel like donating, please do. You can follow the links at my descriptions there in my videos. I'm trying to raise funds because, well, times are tough. Not that I'm begging for coin, but if you do feel like donating, please do, folks. How has everyone's week been so far in light of the whole wee catastrophe and Miss Freeland, the pint-sized twat, taking over finances for this country? Anyone? Bueller? Bueller? Yes, indeed. Of course, because when money goes missing and when money gets spent here and money gets spent there, they don't have the luxury of going to ma and pa. They go to the Canadian taxpayer. It speaks for itself, right? Like I mentioned in one of my episodes, my father, who worked a very long time as a firefighter and has done manual labor, i.e., building decks, he's painted, he's done other carpentry jobs and made a pretty good nest egg for himself. He was dinged roughly about, if I'm not mistaken, 18 plus, 18,000, right? How can a retired person pay that? Hmm. It wouldn't surprise me, Chris. It wouldn't surprise me at all if they try to jack something up to justify it. They tried that with the carbon tax. A lot of us didn't buy it. We had people who kept sitting there saying, "Oh, it's a good thing. It's going to save the world," and yet no plan put in place on how to save said world. Yet, oh, we're going to take an extra, 5 cents here, 10 cents there, carbon levy, carbon pricing. Yeah, we all know they're full of shit. And the thing being is they spent all that money on trying to win a UN seat. It didn't work so well. So basically, tried to bribe their way into the UN. And we all know that the UN is not really a force for good, especially the debacle of the WHO telling people, you know, especially the loyal diehard Canadians who are sitting there every word saying, "Oh, wear a mask, don't wear a mask. Oh, it's this or it's that." Yet they fail to realize that China foots a lot of the bill, as well as the United States too. So let that speak for itself. You know, $2 trillion, that wouldn't surprise me. And what sucks, so let's say hypothetically, if their election was called and the Conservatives got in a majority, they would have to cut and cut and cut to bring things to surface. They would. They've it's inevitable. They've done that every government. They've back and forth, back and forth. It's like a bad tennis match, right? How else do you explain it? How else do you know? Well, see more people coming on. Welcome to the Crusty Canuck live stream. I'm your host, Crusty Canuck, and if you have a question, by all means, and I'll do my best to give you an answer to the best of my ability. Anyone? Anyone? What does everyone think about the CFL this year being canceled? Kind of disappointing. I was looking forward to seeing some Argos this year, but um, whether they had a 5-game season or a 10-game season and some round robin playoffs. I would have liked to seen something anyway. Nobody cares about the CFL. Oh, okay, no worries. I'm not going to cry about it. Now, I just find it odd that our federal government would be right there to help out Bombardier and SC Lavalin and all these other companies, and they wouldn't give a loan to a legitimate Canadian company. Right? Regardless if you like football or not, it's like a Canadian staple when you think about it. I became a CFL fan a second time back in my late 20s. I didn't follow it a lot throughout my teen years and my early 20s, but I started watching a bit of it again. And it's like, yeah, it's a pretty decent game. Not as many commercials and not as many stoppages as you do with the NFL, but you know, well, I'm from Ontario. I live out in Alberta, and I love Alberta. You know, I get the I get the Argos love for my old man. My old man was a diehard Argos fan, right? He grew up, you know, I remember him telling me a story when the NHL expanded to 12 teams from the original 6 and the outrage, and the uproar, but it improved the league, right? You still had Canadian coaches, Canadian players, and a lot of the NHL was headquartered still in Canada. So it was not that big of a deal, right? So, yeah. Yeah. Now, I haven't watched the Argos in a couple of seasons, too busy working, what have you. But I was looking forward to actually watching some games this year. So, well, come on, come all. Nobody has asked me a question or two. Keep the algorithm going. Let's get the free speech out there, right? Gotta keep talking, get dialogue going again. Because I'm afraid there's well, Jane Lawrence. Okay. Yeah, I just remember Jane Lawrence because I remember I used to take a subway when I was studying in Toronto at Finch. Yeah, right at Finch there, just right in North York, and I go right down to Bloor Street, Bloor and Young. Yeah. Oh, I remember when it was actually fun to go to TO. It was great. Catch some bands, have some pints, uh, hang out with all of my artistic friends, and then get drunk and just have one hell of a party. It was a good time. Yeah. Yeah. What brought you out west, Chris? Was it the oil field? Or you ex-military? Oh, we got more people signing on. Hi, everyone. Don't be shy. Say hello. Ask a question or two. And if you feel like donating, please donate. You can see the links in the bottom of my videos. By all means, everything is getting a little tight right now. I'm not expecting anyone to give me any money, but if you feel like donating, please do. Hello, Wicker the Now. How you been? Yeah, Chris, that's what I figured. I know there's a video on YouTube with Mr. Bill Blair thwarting GAN activity in 2013, but he hasn't done much in the big picture. He's just played the puppet strings for JT and his cronies and just followed the party lead. He hasn't followed a good lead. He's followed the party lead, right? Barrie, nice town. Yeah, Barrie's a good spot too. Dunlop Street. Yeah. Quite the couple of Ripper clubs there too, I might add. Yeah. Hello again, Wicketer. How are you? How's the bright, shiny state of California? Right. Good to see you. mm. Okay, now I need you to verify something for me there, Wicketer. Now, in the major cities in California, in your area or other areas you have seen, are there people literally dropping trow and taking dumps on the road? Like on sidewalks and a lot of public access ways, everything? San Fran and LA. Okay. Okay. I thought San Francisco was supposed to be the place of love and joy and the old hippie capital of the good old US of A. See, I can understand if someone has to go, by all means, but be discreet about it. You know, I think we've all been in situations where shit, I gotta go. But, you know, I know my concern is typhoid. Mm. That's funny because I was actually considering taking my wife on a nice trip to San Francisco. I guess not. I think Yves Blanchette has got a lot of guts. Now, as much as I disagree with the Quebec separatism, because it's far different than the Western separatism. I've worked with a lot of Quebecers, military and non-military alike, and they can't stand the separatist ideologues. It's a lot different in Canada now than what it was in the mid 60s and late 60s and early 70s, hence the FLQ. But I give salutations to Mr. Yves Blanchette for standing up to Trudeau and the party, more or less saying, "What the hell are you doing?" Right? Because they would think that it was going to be them and the NDP and the Liberals. They were always going to gang up on the Conservatives. Okay. They gambled wrong. So I'll give it to Blanchette for standing up. Great. But he was always the first one to complain about Alberta oil, and yet they import Saudi oil all the time. So I think he might bring it to motion, but I would rather see the Conservatives keep everybody on their toes. And ideally, I would like to see an election called, but I also want to see some fresher faces in there too, like mine. So I would like to see some real changes coming around. And let's say if the Conservatives did win an election, there's going to be cutbacks. There is. So I don't know. Peter MacKay is educated. I'll give you that. Right. But when I look at him sometimes, I look at him as liberal light or conservative light. That's what I do enjoy light beer at times, but I also like a good pint of lager on occasion too. And I don't think Peter McKay. Well, let's just say he talks a good game, but he fails to lace up. Right? Right. He has the potential to be a real shit disturber, but if I was going to put my money on the ideal conservative leader, right, I would have to say Derek Sloan. Because I think he has a little more action than talk, right? And he carried himself very well when he asked Ms. Tam about her loyalties, and we need more of that. I think, and it doesn't matter what brand you represent. I think we need more of that in Canadian politics. Yesterday, not tomorrow, not in October. Yesterday. To emphasize about Lee Blanchette too, it had me thinking. You know, he's an educated individual, very well spoken, loves his province. Okay, loves the separation idea. I just don't find his party as legitimate and as substantial, right? Um, I really don't think a lot of Quebecers would leave Canada, to be honest with you. Right. I don't think they would. I think if they called a referendum right now, you would have about a 60-40 rather than a 51-49 like it was back in the 90s. So, but I also think you probably have a good 75-25 if Alberta was going to separate too, to say the least. Because I've personally seen how Albertans have been treated by the federal government. And it's nothing to do with language. It's the fact that a lot of Albertans support oil and agriculture, and the federal government does not, all in the name of the environment. And yet, if you look after the soil like every farmer does, you're doing the environment a favor, really, you know. Well, see, that's the thing too. There's too much pandering. There's not enough stance. There's not enough integrity to stand for something, right? Like you remember that lady in Quebec that asked Trudeau, "What are you doing about the illegal immigration?" And he deemed her as a racist and a bigot. And yet, you know, she asked a legitimate question, and he's pandering, and he's done more pandering before the George Floyd incident and after the George Floyd incident too, right? I would say McKay could shake it up, but if I was to pick one right now, I'd have to say Derek Sloan. Yeah, I'd have to, with Lewis being a close second. What gets me though is that the media has looked at Kamala Harris as, oh, she's a black woman, she's this, she's that. Okay, great, right? But a lot of people that worked under her and worked around her that didn't like her for legitimate reasons, not about her gender, not about her color. It's just she's a shitty person, right? You got to be a decent fucking human being to lead. And that doesn't matter what color or gender you are. You got to be a decent human being. I mean, you got to have at least a third of compassion someplace when it comes to, especially the law. But, and say those 2/3 for throwing the book at the wankers, right? I've heard that, Wicketer. Yes, I've actually heard something about that. I know her father's Jamaican and her mother is East Indian, I believe. So when you take the term African American, it's like, well, technically speaking, didn't civilization effectively begin in Africa as far as we know? So Eastern Canada, maybe parts of Quebec, maybe more Quebecers would come out for the bloc. I would say Easterners would still either follow the Liberal brand or do a total 180 like they did in the last election and say, well, screw you, Trudeau, we're voting Conservative, right? In a perfect world, I wish the VCP had part of the ticket, and I wish the Libertarian Party had part of the ticket, right? The thing being is a lot of Canadians are forgetting basic liberty and liberty to go out and prosper and thrive as we should, right? Pay a 20% flat tax, caring about your business. You know what I mean? Well, you're welcome out here, Chris, if Alberta separates. Hey, well, carrying on with Wicketer there, yes. Thing is, up here, Wicketer, we have a politician. Her name is Dr. Is it Lewin Lewis? Anyway, she's a black Canadian. None of it matters. Very educated, very intelligent. I think she can speak 4 languages. And our mainstream media hasn't really said squat about her. And yet she's running for the leadership of our Conservative Party. They were focusing their attention on Kamala being, Joe Biden's fucking VP. Yeah, when I look at Joe Biden, I think of the banjo kid from fucking Deliverance, right? Ding, 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 ding. So that's just me, though. I'm just a Canuck looking down, going, fuck. So, um, oh, I see more people coming out. I'll say again, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the live stream. If you do feel like donating to Crusty Canuck, by all means, just follow the links in my descriptions in any of my podcasts and videos. And if you'd like to donate, please donate. I have some swagger up for sale there, my Teespring line. Check it out. If you'd like the link, post it here into the conversation bracket. Please let me know, and I'll do so. Oh, Sloan would shake it up. Yeah, I'd say so. Yeah, Sloan would shake it up. Well, it's just not America. Wickeder than now. It just our liberals up here in Canada have always tried to follow suit, right? Gun control is a big debate in the United States. Okay, the thing is a problem in the United States is that well, it's not a problem. It's one of your constitutional rights. It is, and in Canada, it's never been really a constitutional right. It's always been okay. You can have a gun, but that's what you got to do. Okay, and every gun owner has done that loyally and effectively, and there've been have practically minimal incidents with people who've legally owned firearms. What they're trying to do, it's almost like a competition. We had a basic, what they call the OIC, Order in Council, which hasn't been used since World War One. A quick fix to something that needs more debate, more thorough investigation, rather than just hearsay or speculation. And the powers that be took it upon themselves to use the Sandy Hook massacre and the Polytechnic massacre that happened in 1989, where a crazy guy, literally a madman, killed 14 women in Montreal to justify this legislation to ban all guns. Now, the prime minister sat there basically talking down to everybody. The deputy PM slash finance minister slash whatever she was basically said her spiel and her take, saying, well, all people with military fetishism just don't deserve that kind of respect. And I'm just like, whoa. So it seems like every time a liberal talks about personal safety and security in this country, they really don't get it. So it's not so much America's stupidity of politicians. It's, I don't know, it's people that want all this safety and yet they're willing to forfeit basic liberties to get it, which I don't get, right? Because it has its repercussion, right? Your parents set aside a curfew for you when you were a teenager. And if you miss that curfew, oh, there's hell to pay, and then you're punished for 2 weeks. Well, it's the same thing here. You want all this safety, you deviate inadvertently from this safety. Oh, you can't do that. So it's a joke, right? Oh, what did she say? What did Miss Lewis say to you, Chris? Oh, okay. I heard something about that too. I think it's a matter of rewriting it to make it a little more understandable to the liberal crowd out there, because I've explained the simple procedure to liberals and they keep shaking their head. Oh, no, 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 no. Bad words, bad words. No, here's a simple thing. You can't just go to any gun store in Canada and buy a gun. You have to have your card. We know that. How do you get your card? Okay, you're spending 2 days training to do it. You know, and then you've got to register and all this stuff, and then wait. I waited almost 7 months for my card. So, and it didn't care that I had, at the time, close to 17 years in the military, and I proved to them that I was training troops and all that. I still had to wait. So, but I would abolish C-71 and C-75. If you're a criminal and you've done a heinous crime, serve the time. Really. Remember that big stink about 2 years ago? Tori Stafford's killer was released and she was at a healing lodge. I would only say healing lodges are good for people that have lost loved ones or who have survived a horrendous thing, not someone who broke the law. Okay. And it wasn't like they just, hit this kid over the head once and the kid died. They literally beat her to death with a hammer. So if it was up to me, I'd have them executed. Really. Bang. Was it $1.26 to make a 5.56 round? Do the taxpayers a lot of favors. Mm. Yes, I heard California has got some really ridiculous magazine issues. But then, we don't. We have a capacity of 5 rounds in semi, right? So semi-automatic rifles, 5 rounds. Semi-automatic pistols, no more than 10. But the police officers and security details can carry a hell of a lot more. Hmm. Hmm. Well, Chris, then if she doesn't want to get her pal or intend to get one, that's her right too. But if she does get in and she incorporates laws forbidding me or you, then there's going to be a shitstorm. I would say for you guys, it'd be unconstitutional, wickeder, for sure. Yeah. We don't jump through any hoops. We have to follow the law when it gets our RPAL, when it comes to getting your RPAL. Now, what I had to do was take a day's lessons on understanding different kind of ammunition, 45, 9mm, right? 44, understanding revolvers, understanding semi-automatic pistols, everything from the actual Magnum to a 45 Magnum. Or correction, yeah, 1911. Basically, we were given insight on the 22 caliber, 45 caliber, 9mm, different pistol calibers you can buy in Canada, how to load it, how to unload it, how to take it apart, how to clean it, different firing stances, understanding safety distances and what have you. And you have to do a written exam. And then you have to give an oral presentation to the instructor on what to do, which animal was what, which ammo is which, how do you load this, what are some of the safety precautions you have to do, how do you lock this, how do you put it away. And in order to get that, like I said, once you've done that course and you hand in your paperwork, pay your registration fee, which I believe is still $75. It goes to Miramichi, New Brunswick. It gets assessed. Oh, correction, before I missed a step, sorry. You have to have 2 references of people that know you, know that you're good to go upstairs. If you do have any ailments, you have to get permission from a medical practitioner, whether it be a psychologist or a medical doctor, to say this individual is good to go. And it has to be in writing and enclosed with your registration, sent off to Miramichi, and then you wait. And you can wait anywhere from a month to, like I said, 7 months, right? So I waited 6 months for my non-restricted, and that came in because I remember seeing the paperwork with the date on it, and I had to wait another month after to get my actual card that indicated I was allowed to buy a rifle and or pistol and ammo and all that good stuff. So, right, possession and acquisition license. So, yeah, it was 7 months. So it's pretty tough up here. You can wait anywhere from a month to 7 months, right? It's not like a 3-day thing down in some states, right? And once I got that, now you go buy a pistol at any Canadian gun store. Oh, yeah, you can look at this, look at that, buy all the ammo you want. Okay. But you need paperwork that comes from the local RCMP. Okay. Or whatever police service that's presiding in that area. And you have to get a printout that they will send to the gun store saying, yep, this guy's good to go. Because every day when your name gets put in to any gun store for any kind of purchase, it constantly gets looked at by the RCMP. So you're constantly being given criminal background checks, to say the least, every time you purchase a firearm. Right. So it can take anywhere from a couple hours to a day. Right. So it's not that easy. Non-restricted. Okay, you can walk in. Oh, there's a bolt action rifle. Oh shit, it's a Lee Enfield. Oh, great. You can go buy it. Not a problem. You just, when you buy it, they put a lock on it for you, or you put it on yourself, put in your gun case if you have one, or you buy a gun case, lock the gun case, then you throw it in your truck, and then you're good to go. So it's that simple, right? With non-restricted, right? So. Oh, you off, Chris? Okay. Off to work? No, I haven't seen a background check for ammo purchases. We have a chain of stores up here in Canada called Canadian Tire. It's kind of like a Home Depot, like a Lowe's, right? It's been around since I think 1920. Anyway, chain of stores all over Canada. You can buy ammo there. They just have to see your identification, right? Now, get this though, in Ontario, they write down your name and your address when you buy ammo, and they take down your PAL number too in a big notepad. So, you off to bed there, Chris? A long day tomorrow? Okay, take care. Oh, I see more people signing up. Say hello, ask me a question. Hey, let's talk about this week's politics and the shit show it is. Mm. 50 rounds. Oh, yeah, you can buy that here too. That's not a problem, right? Even non-restricted. Like you can still walk into a gun shop and you just prove that you have your card and you have your RPAL. You can buy all the ammo you want, really. It's just when you buy the actual gun, that's when it becomes an administrative burden. So, but like I say, you guys down there go state by state. We go by federal, so it's Canada wide. Uh, as far as I know, there are some premiers that are trying to change that to give it to provincial jurisdiction because there are a lot of premiers in Canada that want people to keep their guns, who don't think it's a major problem like our federal overseers do. So, yes, traditionally, yes, usually because things always got done in Alberta because of conservative politics. But the way things have been going the past few years, it's kind of iffy. Now, a lot of conservative politicians have done some wonderful things for the province of Alberta, but lately I don't know. It's tough to say, especially with this COVID. Um, there's a lot of speculation about mandatory vaccines. There's some ridiculous mask laws that are going on in every city in this province. It's just fucking abhorrent. Um, I know lots of Carls and Karens are calling the shots. How's that sound? Well, well, I think vaccinations are good to help you from typhoid and other flus and other strains of disgusting diseases that almost wiped out the human race back in the dark ages. But I don't think this vaccine, I don't think there'll be a great response if it becomes forced. I think there will be a lot of resistance and for all good reasons. Good reasons being it's like, okay, you haven't told us the truth about it. And we've been told left and right, wear a mask, don't wear a mask, wear gloves, don't wear gloves. Oh, you're fine here, but you're not fine there, but you're not fine here anymore, you're fine over here. So which is it? Right? Well, that's the thing. I'm opposed to forced vaccinations too. So no, I can understand forced punishment if you screw up, right? But when it comes to forcing vaccines, no, there's going to be a problem. There's going to be a big problem if anything's forced to that caliber. No. Oh, see more people signing on. Don't be shy, folks. Say hello. I'm always seeing 4 people come on, then 6 comes on, and then it goes to 2 and 4 again. And maybe it's my PC. I'm not sure, but it doesn't surprise me. Every billionaire or every millionaire. I remember back as a kid, all these rich folk weighing in. Up here in Canada, we have a chain of stores called Loblaws, and they're owned by the Weston family. The Weston family began their family fortune in, I believe it was Toronto, as a giant bakery. They eventually grew and grew and grew, and they bought the Loblaws chain, I believe. So, and they were notorious for calling certain shots back in the day. So, it wouldn't surprise me. You make oodles of cash, of course you're going to think you're invincible, you know. But, they're not going to be pulling the weight and they're not going to be fighting in the streets if it ever happens. They're going to be hidden away and well looked after because they pay a lot of people to make sure they're looked after. That's just the way it goes, you know. I don't necessarily agree with it. I don't care how any man or woman makes their fortune, go for it. But yeah, I agree with that too. I also agree that power does corrupt. Right? It does corrupt. Right? How do you think the Rockefellers got ahead? The Rothschilds. Well, how do you think the Kennedys made their fortune? Right? It wasn't through laundry services. Oh, see more people stamping up. Welcome everybody to the live stream of Crusty Canuck. You know me, I'm Crusty Canuck. By all means, add to this conversation. Ask me all the questions you'd like. I try to be an open book. Try to get the word out there. Keep the algorithm going. Help us independent folk get our words out, so we can have proper adult discussion and get things out in the open. Right? It's still a talk. Yeah, it's still a talk of Wexit. Um, I really don't think the idea is for them to become the 51st state. There are some Albertans that would like that because they figure the transition would be easy. Um, but there's still talk of the Wexit, though, for Alberta being its own independent conglomerate, kind of like what Switzerland is, right? Thing is, too, there's lots of oil in Alberta, parts of BC, and Saskatchewan. Call us the North Texas if need be. And Canada has some of the cleanest and most efficient environmental standards when it comes to extracting fossil fuels. As far as I know, it's been that way since the mid 70s. They set examples for the Saudis, for the Iranians, and for the Iraqis alike prior to all the disturbances. They've also set standards for Nigerian extraction and Venezuelan extraction when it comes to the environment. So when people say the oil sands are bad, they're terrible, well, I tell the Jane Fondas out there to take a flying leap. I've personally worked with people that worked in the oil sands, and they'll tell you a different story, that it's not a cesspool of garbage. It's a natural occurrence, right? It's kind of like a hot spring, right? It's just it's contained, right? It's still in the works, though, to answer your question. It's not dead. It's kind of taking a break, but there are people out there who still want to get things going. You will see once this country has a federal election to see what's going to come out of the woodwork, too, and what kind of tactics that every party is going to use to either gain power or reclaim power or destroy it, one or the other. Right? I'm sure down in the States come November 3rd, I believe. Is that the federal election down there? Is it 3rd or the 4th? Anyway, come November, I'll be curious to see what kind of divide is going to happen down there. In a way, I do. In a way, I don't. I fly the maple leaf. I love my country. I love every part of my country. I've worked with natives. I've worked with French Canadians. I've worked with Portuguese Canadians, Chinese Canadians. My 20 years of service, I have worked with a variety of people. And racism was never an issue. Bigotry was never an issue. If someone had a problem with you, they would talk to you about it. And if it ended up being fisticuffs, well, so be it. But there was never an issue. Racism was never an issue in this country as far as I can remember. There were racial divides at one time, but that's history. That's why we learn from history. You don't try to erase it and annihilate, you learn from it, right? And when it comes to separation, I can see why Wexit exists. I don't tolerate the Quebec separation, um, but I can see why the Wexiteers want to. And as much as I love Alberta, I don't want Canada to separate. I don't. I don't. But the thing being, too, if the Canadian economics and the people in charge don't want to fix the problem, then I think the Wexiteers have a viable solution. Cut the oil off, right? No oil at all. And then what? People in Ottawa are going to have to beg, borrow, and steal to get their cheap oil, whether they buy it from the Americans or whether they buy it from the Saudis, or if they get a good deal on Nigerian oil or Venezuelan oil. So until we invent a special machine or invent ways to power our cars and our trucks and our aircraft and our ships in a very, very clean manner, this is what we have. So I know Greater Los Angeles has quite the oil derricks and quite the smog problem because of it too. So I meant to say that earlier in regards when Jane Fonda made her comments about the oil sands. And yet I've flown over Greater Los Angeles and I've seen, whew, wow. So we'll see come for us, because I think come, I believe it's September 23rd, our prime minister has halted what they call prorogued parliament, basically shut it down for a month so he can reorg and find other ways to save his face, even though he's tarnished the image for a long time now. Um, it's a fancy way of saying I'm going to go away and hide and recalibrate my bullshit. And he's going to open up Parliament again with a throne speech, which should be a once a year thing, or a once every 12 months thing. So, but well, yes, we are. We're sitting on mountain resources, and it's up to us Canadians to conserve those resources too and to develop them properly. But our federal government doesn't see it that way. They want to keep all the resources in the ground. Okay, I can understand the environment too, but they would rather rely on foreign nations to look after things as well. And yes, I guess you can say oil is running out, but I don't think it's going to leave in the next 20 years or the next 100 years for that matter. I don't know. There's plenty of room for opportunities to research, to do things in the environmental way without costing the taxpayers trillions, like AOC's fucking logic and like some of our environmental cronies' logic too. I don't know. But there are lots of good resources in Canada that we don't mind selling to people. The thing is, the red tape with bills like C-48 have thwarted and halted that progression. So, well, I see more people signing on. Welcome to the chat, folks. Don't be shy. Excuse me. Don't be afraid to ask me any questions, folks. I'm here for at least another 15 minutes. So by all means. Well, yeah, we are similar to culture as the Americans. You can just say that we've had more of the British influence, if anything. There was actually a comedian. What was his name? This is about 10 years ago. He said this joke, and I remember it because it was just his timing and deliverance was delivery deliverance. Ding 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 ding. His delivery was perfect. He says, the two similarities in these countries are really uncanny. You guys had a war and you kicked Britain's ass and you got your independence. We said, can we have some? And at the time, Britain said, all right, then. And that was it. And when you look historically, and just the way this guy said it was fantastic. Historically, Canada has always had a loyalty to the British Crown, and we didn't really officially earn our independence until May of 1982 when we signed our own constitution. Because what was the governing force at that time? Our constitution was based on the B&A Act, the British North America Act, but also the Magna Carta too was the founding fundamentalism of that. You can say we earned our independence in World War I. A key battle to that was April 9th, 1917, the Battle of Vimy Ridge. That's what some historians have said, and that's what some members of the Legion have said. That's what history teachers told me. So. William Shearer, what do I think of Alberta becoming fit for state of the USA? I don't. I don't. Honestly, to be honest, I haven't really thought about it. There's speculation of that. I haven't thought of it. My concern is with keeping my country together. Why, thank you. Do I have that bit of a drawl? Or have I said loose moose in the hoose? Or do I say a boot too many times? A boot, right? I've heard that from some Americans. I actually worked in El Paso with some reserve naval. That's what they said. They were in the reserve Navy. And they used to say to me, oh, you guys, you say a boot quite a bit. Okay. We always known as the Queen's English. Still. No. Now, contrary to the popular belief there, Wicketer, not all of us Canucks sit around, drink beer, and play lots of hockey, eh? Bob and Doug McKenzie did that, but those are fictional characters too. I have caught myself saying a few times, but not like Bob and Doug McKenzie or the stereotype. So. Why would you think I was from Texas? Texas is a beautiful state. I love Texas. Had a great time down in Texas. Where you typing from there, Mr. Shearer? Anyway, tell me what you think, Mr. Shearer. Do you think Alberta should become the 51st state? Hmm? Okay. Yeah. Well, it's a pleasure, Christian. I enjoy doing it too, and I'm glad you like. And I'll do what I can to keep more episodes and more information flowing. So. Well, we've got our share of lunatics too, Wicketer. But I don't know, they're a little more controllable. Except half of our lunatics are running the Liberal Party. So that speaks for itself. But I appreciate the compliment. Thank you. How are you tonight, Christian? Yes, appreciate the comment. Thank you very much. I'll do what I can. Right. Outside Calgary, north or south, or your east? Okay. Yeah. Not a problem. Yeah. I met my wife down in that area. So I'm not bad tonight. I've had some coffee, some tobacco. I like putting the live streams on to get people's feedback, And I say again, I see more people sign up. If you'd like to donate, please follow the links in my videos and my podcasts. Donation of $5 to $10 a month, a committed donation of that will get you a free T-shirt of your choice from my Teespring line. So check out my Teespring line. All the links are in my description, and pick a shirt if you like, or if you want to donate, a committed donation and want a shirt, let me know. If you just want a shirt, by all means, go right to the site and pick one up yourself. So, where you write me from there, Christian? En français? Am I saying it right? Christian Damour? I took a bit of French in the military. Well, I took French in school, but I think I learned more French in the military than I ever did in my public education. So, c'est bon. Ah, parfait. Comment allez-vous? Hmm. Yeah, I fly the Red Ensign too, out of respect for history, and well, of course, the Maple Leaf. Um, oh, and Red Deer, perfect. Right on, right on. That's good. Red Deer's a nice place. Oh, and both your parents are military Christian, right on. For William, yeah, Dominion flag. Like I said, I do it for history. I do it just. I actually, when I started to do my podcasts, I wanted to put the flag up just to see what kind of SJW might react to it. And I've had a few actually, and it's quite cool. And I've actually shut them down pretty fucking hard too, so that was nice. Um, Barrie, Ontario. Yep. Well, we're just talking to a lad from Barrie. That's excellent. Yeah. Yeah. My grandparents on both sides of the family, they fought in World War II. Yeah. They fought real fascists, real Japanese, real imperialist, nasty bastards. And yeah, I guess so. Your father moved out in '60, just as the oil boom was starting to pick off, I guess, eh? Right. Did you serve regular force, Christian, or were you in the reserve? Not that it matters, but oh, did I miss your question, Rickard? Did you ask me another question? Yeah, I've never seen Austin or Dallas. We landed in Fort Worth, and then we did some work in El Paso. So, this is great. More people are coming out. Thank you, everybody, for coming out. Please keep the questions going. Doesn't matter if they're clean or dirty. Just no bigotry, please. Hmm. What did you serve, Christian? Were you with one gun outside of Brandon there? Were you in Ontario? Hmm. I agree. The oil patch does pay better, especially if you can get a job and keep the job in the patch, of course. Unfortunately, the way things are going federally. I still feel bad for a lot of the guys in the patch who are trying to get ahead. They spend all this money to get qualifications and whatever tickets to get things on the go, and they end up becoming great at their job. But then when government likes to cut it off, it fucking infuriates me. Okay, yeah, I've heard you guys. Right on. Yeah, I've heard you guys. I think I've dealt with some of you lot when I was instructing in Wainwright. So I mean that affectionately, of course. So did your parents serve in the artillery as well? Were they Air Force or Navy? Well, they wouldn't be Navy. Air Force or Army? A QL2 driver. So basically, you worked for stores. Yeah. Okay. Yes. Okay. Oh, that's excellent for your parents. Yeah. Supply techs and Star Tech. Yeah. That was a tough course to get into. I knew a couple of lads from my old unit that did search and rescue, and they did very well. Unfortunately, one of them got nailed for attitude, and the other one actually lost. I think it was his father or his mother while he was training. So yeah, that was tougher because I remember that guy. He was quite the comedian, but fit, very strong, very strong. This guy was picking up. Um, oh shit, what was he picking up? He was picking up tires one day, and he was showing us, and we were just like, because he was just strong. So wasn't a muscle head. He just had the strength and the girth, right? Well, that's the thing. It's summer taskings can be beneficial to a lot of reserve guys, especially if you can get yourself a Class B contract. That's always good too, right? So, any more questions, ladies and gentlemen? Might be shutting this down in about 10 minutes. So get your questions in. And like I said, if you feel like donating or contributing to the Crusty Canuck podcast, by all means, follow the links in the description at the bottom of all my videos. Like I said, if a $5 to $10 donation committed a month, you get yourself a free T-shirt from my Teespring line. I try to give 30% of all my donations to the Veterans Association Food Bank out of Calgary. Great bunch of guys, look after veterans, and they do a wonderful job for the community. So, for Sartec, yeah, fit body and mind, but the same thing goes to with the Seesaw guys. Um, we did some enemy force taskings for those lads, and yeah, they're machines. They are. I did an enemy force tasking with the JTF there back in 2005, I believe. We did some work at the hydro plant there in Cornwall, Ontario, and I had to pretend like I was a terrorist, and they put a false beard on me and everything. It's quite funny. So, but yeah, there's a lot of there's still a lot of good standards in today's military, especially when it comes to SARTEX and CSOR and the higher up, the more special operations and stuff too. So, all right, Christian, you take care. Thanks for coming out. By all means. Any more questions, folks? I might give this another 5 minutes because I might get myself another cup of coffee, watch the Canadian news, and probably go to bed. We'll see. Feel free to ask me anything you like. I have an open book. Talk about this week's politics and life in Canada as we see it, and how it's going for us Canadians trying to get things done. and promote our freedom and welfare as we should be. No one? That's okay. I can sit wait for a couple more minutes. Not too worried. So I do this for you, my viewers and listeners, to get the word out. You know? Well, Wicketer, if you understand Canadian politics, don't just talk to me. Um, there are a lot of other podcasters out there who have insight, other veterans. Um, if you'd like, um, look at my link, send me an email, and I can send you links to some key officials who have some really good insight on Canadian, American, and Mexican politics too, on how things have been welt and dealt. Um, Everything from when Britain let go of the United States to how Britain fought France and Quebec over the rights of Canada as we see it. Every major empire at that time had some kind of claim into North America, especially at the time what they called the Canadas. So it's quite interesting. So, but like I say, you can ask me all the questions you want, and I'll give you the best answers I can. And if not, I can refer you to other aficionados. There's actually a couple of politicians I know personally that have given me some pretty good information into the state of affairs. You know, not that it's illegal, it's kind of bad taste on their part, but they've actually listened to my story and they give a shit about what I have to say. So it's kind of a bond there, which is kind of cool. But by all means, you can ask me anything you want, and I'll do my best to get you an answer. I enjoy him. I enjoy Rebel Media. Yeah, I've actually met Ezra Levant and Sheila Gunn Reid. Down to earth people, your typical grassroots, you know, salt of the earth, genuine people. Ezra Levant got in shit about 11 years ago. Do you remember the big thing in the media about the Muhammad cartoon and how some cartoonists and people, I think was it Denmark, they were killed for putting it on? Some fanatics end up killing them. Ezra took that cartoon as well and put it in the paper that he was working for. I think it was the Western Standard at the time, and he got into some trouble with the Human Rights Tribunal, and he more or less told them where to go because he's a trained attorney. He's a lawyer too, so he had to fight that tooth and nail to get his name cleared. But he's quite the intelligent human being. In the past couple of years, he hasn't really leaned liberal nor conservative. That was in France, Charlie. There was a situation in Denmark too, I believe, prior to Charlie. But I'll have to send the link to that. But like I said, I met Ezra Levant. I went to actually his book signing. Yeah. Right here, Libranos. Yeah. He actually wrote me something nice too. To Crusty, Canuck, all the best, Ezra Levant. So, yeah, it was awesome. But no, they're pretty good too. Up here, we also have a guy named Spencer Fernando. He's quite articulate, inquisitive. We also have TNC News, which is another startup, kind of like the Rebel. They're very informative. They're very, very critical of the Liberal Party, and I don't blame them. And there's tons of other guys. There's Another individual by the name of Daniel Boardman. He is kind of opinionated, but he's very thorough. And like I said, Spencer Fernando, Daniel Boardman, TNC News, The Rebel, um, the Globe and Mail was at one time. I don't trust them as much anymore. National Post used to be decent. They have the odd blurb, which is good. The thing with independent media up here, you got to find it, but it's not hard to find. There are a lot of people out there with great opinions, you know. There was speculation of that, but now the Rebel Media is up to about, I think, 1.6 million or more subscribers. And I know they have branches in the States. I've seen a couple of their Rebel videos from California and from Florida. They were trying to branch out in Britain. They've had Tommy Robinson do some stories for them. They had one little guy who was helping them out, but he was a bit of a shyster. So that didn't work out too well for them on that. But I actually applied for a job with them too. So I guess they didn't like my bald head, or I say fuck too much. So, but no, they're good people. They're like I said, they're down to earth people. And I've had people say, "Oh, they're racist." No, they're the furthest thing from racist. Right? They're the furthest thing from anything racial or bigoted. They just Sheila Gunn Reid is a farm girl, and her family background is basically hard work. And Ezra Levant, you know, he's quite the metropolitan man, but he's brilliant. Like when you talk with him, you're just a good conversation, just an all around decent human being. I haven't met too many others from the Rebel Media just yet, but when you watch their stories and listen what they have to say, they just have a very, very non-biased approach, and they encourage critical thought, which I think is the essence of today right now. Definitely need that today. So there have been some politicians, though, who have tried to censor the rebel. Our conservatives have done that, and our liberals have done that. And the NDP, if you're in the NDP, they're the closest thing to a socialist party we have. They've tried to censor the rebel numerous times. That book that I showed you, I was at the book signing event back in October of last year when I was doing some security training. And the NDP tried to shut that down, even though they lost the election. There were still some members of the provincial opposition that tried to rally people to shut down the event, right? So it speaks for itself how some of our politicians like to roll in this country. I'll give it a few more minutes, ladies and gentlemen, before I shut this down. Any more questions, by all means, feel free to ask me. I'll do what I can to get you an answer. Yes, exactly, Wicketer. It is mob mentality, cancel culture, everything. It seems like there's something in the water with these people, you know? Oh, I don't agree with what you say, so I'm going to ruin your life. Okay. What's that for? What's that going to do? You know, you ruin this guy's life, then this girl's going to come around and try to ruin yours, and then so on and so on. It becomes a ridiculous nightmare. You know, I don't agree with half the politicians, what they stand for in this country, but I'm not going to go ruin their lives. I want to see them defeated. Yes. I want to see them humbled. Yes. I don't want to see their lives ruined. I don't want to see their families hurt. I don't want to see their property damaged. Right. But in the same sense, if said politicians are going to back up the BLM riots and back up all these race relations and promote the division, then they should get a taste of their own medicine. Any more questions, ladies and gentlemen? I've got about an hour 26 into this already. I'm going to shut this down another another 5 minutes, so get your questions in. Keep the conversation going. This will be on YouTube after it's all said and done, so you can listen to this later if you like, throw some more comments around, or check out my other videos. And if you like notification, please share, subscribe, click the thumbs up if you like it. Don't forget to click that little bell in the right-hand corner. That way you get notified when I have new content up and running on the tube. Okay, so I don't know about next week, but you can follow my videos there too. I put one up yesterday. If you'd like to watch it, Wicketer, just the podcast. I record the podcast, a few little tidbits, theme music, and my adverts as per. I'm going to try to get a live stream on. I'm going to try to do it every couple of weeks the best I can. Like I say, I'm also looking for work right now too. So timing is an issue. But in the same sense, I will try to get a live stream up. At least maybe once every 2 weeks to get something on the go here, to get more people in conversation, all that good stuff. And I'm not going to censor anybody. I don't believe in censorship. So by all means, type what you want to say and say what you want to say. Ask me what you want. Just no racial BS, please. I don't tolerate that at all. So, but I will be around again, and I will post on my community page too when I do in the next live stream. And if you want to follow me, you can follow me at crustycanuck.podbean.com or here on the tube. You can follow the links in my description. And if you want to send me an email or two, by all means, that information is there as well. Or if you want to write me a letter, you can. I have an actual mailing address. You can write me a letter to if you want to. So don't be shy, folks. Right? Yeah, I don't think I'll be on next week, though, Wicketer, if that answers your question. But I'll try to get a live stream every 2 weeks. Just keep an eye out on my community page. I will post it. And before I go, I still have a poll, a survey I'm doing on my community page in regards to a hockey jersey. Now, it looks like there's a certain name that's getting popularity. So get your votes in there as soon as you can. I'm going to design a hockey jersey for all my Crusty Canuck fans. And once I get the name that's been picked by you, my viewers, my listeners alike, I will get it made to order for you to purchase if you like too. So get in there, give me a vote on what name you would like, and send me a comment too. And I'm going to shut the poll down probably in another week. So get in there and vote before I shut her down, folks. All right. Okay, you take care, Wicketer. Have a good night. Cheers. Okay, everybody. Time here now is around roughly 9:28 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. And it's been, well, it's another good, successful live stream. I get some few questions. A few people come out, say hello, how you doing? That's fantastic. Not that I'm expecting thousands of people to come out, but keep plugging away, right? Anyhow, folks, I have been Crusty Canuck on this beautiful Thursday evening, the 20th of August. And take care of yourselves and your loved ones. And like I say, check out the community page from time to time on my page, Crusty Canuck. Give me a vote or two in regards to the hockey jersey and leave a comment. Don't forget to share and subscribe and click that little bell. Give me a thumbs up and take care. And remember, humanity merit wins the day, folks. Take care and we'll see you next time. Bye for now.